Welcome to Business with Louis, the podcast where we dive into the world of entrepreneurship and explore the concepts that can make or break a business. Today we're talking about one of the most critical steps in launching a successful venture: how to choose and validate a business idea. Choosing and validating a business idea is essentially about finding a problem that you're passionate about solving and then verifying that there's a market for your solution. It's a crucial process because it determines whether your business will sink or swim. A good business idea can be the difference between success and failure, so it's essential to get it right. One of the most influential thinkers in this area is Steve Blank, a renowned entrepreneur and startup expert. Blank argues that entrepreneurship is not just about having a great idea, but about being able to execute it and adapt to changing circumstances. He emphasizes the importance of customer discovery and validation, which involves getting out of your comfort zone and talking to potential customers to understand their needs and pain points. Another key concept is the lean startup methodology, developed by Eric Ries. This approach emphasizes rapid experimentation, customer feedback, and continuous iteration. It's all about building a minimum viable product, MVP, and testing it with real customers to validate your assumptions. The lean startup methodology has been widely adopted by startups and entrepreneurs around the world because it provides a systematic approach to launching and growing a successful business. One notable example is Airbnb, which started as a simple air mattress rental service in San Francisco. The founders, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, validated their idea by talking to potential customers and understanding their needs. They realized that people were looking for unique, local experiences, and they adapted their business model accordingly. Today, Airbnb is a global phenomenon with millions of listings worldwide. Kiwi's founders assumed that people would pay for short-form video content on their phones, but they didn't test this assumption with real customers. As a result, the service struggled to gain traction and eventually shut down. Another example is Warby Parker, which disrupted the traditional eyewear industry by offering stylish, affordable glasses online. The founders, Neil Blumenthal and Dave Gilboa, validated their idea by conducting extensive customer research and testing different business models. They realized that people were looking for a more convenient and affordable way to buy glasses, and they created a business model that met those needs. So, what are some practical tips for choosing and validating a business idea? First, start by identifying problems that you're passionate about solving. This could be something that frustrates you personally or an issue that you've noticed in your community. Next, talk to potential customers to validate your assumptions. Use tools like surveys, interviews, and online forums to gather feedback. Don't be afraid to pivot if your initial idea isn't working out. Another important thing to keep in mind is the concept of market size and competition. You want to find a market that's big enough to be interesting, but not so competitive that it's impossible to stand out. According to research by CB Insights, the top reasons why startups fail include lack of market need, running out of cash, and not having the right team in place. By validating your business idea and understanding your market, you can mitigate these risks and increase your chances of success. In addition to these tips, it's also essential to consider the competitive landscape and potential barriers to entry. You should research your competitors and understand their strengths and weaknesses. You should also think about how you can differentiate your business and create a unique value proposition that sets you apart from the competition. One popular tool is the business model canvas, which provides a visual framework for designing and testing business models. Another resource is the Lean Startup Circle, a community of entrepreneurs and startups that share knowledge and best practices on lean startup methodologies. In conclusion, choosing and validating a business idea is a critical step in launching a successful venture. It requires a combination of creativity, research, and iteration. By following the principles outlined today, you can increase your chances of success and build a business that creates real value in the market. Remember, every great business starts with a solid idea, but it's the execution that matters. As the first always say, you can't force a square peg into a round hole. You need to understand your market and adapt accordingly. Don't be afraid to take risks and experiment with different business models until you find one that works. And most importantly, don't give up. Every successful entrepreneur has experienced setbacks and failures along the way. That's it for today's Business with Louis. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more episodes on entrepreneurship and business growth. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below.